Fallen Heroes, an emotional tribute to American sailors killed in the terror attack on their ship.
To those who attack them, we say, you will not find a safe harbor. We will find you.
Most Wanted, the picture seen round the world, blood on his hands tonight, how the Israelis got their man. A wild up-and-down ride on Wall Street and extra money for millions on Social Security. And The Family, the first proof that a groundbreaking operation to save a little girl's life may be working.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening from the nation's capital on a day of emotional farewells, the USS Cole Memorial, financial anxieties, a wild up-and-down day on Wall Street, and political claims and counterclaims after the final presidential debate. We'll begin tonight with the Navy service for the victims of that terrorist attack on the USS Cole in Yemen. It was a service of melancholy remembrance and steely determination. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell in Norfolk, Virginia.
Today in Norfolk, against a sea of white uniforms, 5,000 gathered to honor the fallen sailors.
We lost a part of America, a part of ourselves.
The scars of that faraway blast so visible here, on faces.
We feel the hurt.
On stretchers carrying the wounded.
We feel the tears.
On the hearts of families whose grief is still beyond consoling.
We mourn their loss, celebrate their lives. We know we will never know them as you did or remember them as you will. The first time you saw them in uniform, or the last time you said goodbye.
But this gathering will let the nation know their sacrifice. The 17 sailors of the USS Cole who left home from this port in August, never to return.
Death snatched them away in one violent, unsuspecting moment, while they were making sure that the American people and our friends moved easily in a dangerous world.
This was a time for comfort and tears, but also the promise of retaliation.
To those who attack them, we say, you will not find a safe harbor.
A pledge that gives reassurance to Virginia Brown, whose husband is still on the Cole.
I want them to find them, and I want them punished to the fullest extent of the law, because it was cowardly, and those men and women didn't deserve to die the way they did.
This was a day of grief, but also gratitude for these sons and daughters who stood for freedom so far from home. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Norfolk.
Meanwhile, the director of the FBI, Louis Freeh, is headed for Yemen to personally supervise the investigation into the attack on the USS Cole, and some progress in that investigation is being made tonight. NBC Jim Miklashevsky is at the Pentagon with the latest for us now. Jim?
Tom, investigators tonight are still trying to figure out exactly what kind of explosive could cause such devastating damage to the Cole. They're focusing on an abandoned apartment where bomb-making materials were found. But today, Yemen President Saleh claims that the explosives found could only come from the U.S. or Israel, implying that the materials or the weapon itself were Western-made. U.S. military and intelligence officials cannot confirm Saleh's claim. Authorities also discovered 2 Yemen passports, but quickly determined they were fakes. Not surprising to one U.S. official who said everything in Yemen's terrorist underground is a forgery. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon tonight. At the same time, in Israel, it is quieter after the summit meeting between Israel's Barak and the PLO's Arafat, but the bitter feeling, the explosive climate remains. The Israelis remain enraged by the mob killing of 2 Israeli reservists. As NBC's Martin Fletcher reports tonight, they have up to 8 of the suspects now. Martin, what's the latest there?
Tom, Israeli leaders swore to get the killers, all of them, one by one, no matter how long it took. In fact, according to security sources, it only took 6 days. the image that shocked the world. A jubilant Palestinian literally with Israeli blood on his hands. Tonight, security sources here say he's under interrogation in an Israeli jail, questioned about his role in this. Last Thursday, about a dozen Palestinians stab and mutilate 2 Israeli soldiers in a Palestinian police station. One body is tossed down to the chanting mob, then dragged through the streets. The victims can only be identified by their fingerprints and dental records. Israel was quick to retaliate, within 5 hours striking back with surgical precision. The army gets the order, hunt the killers. Most wanted, the man with the bloody hands. Palestinian sources say he's a physics student. The Israelis put their top anti-terrorist unit on the operation, seen here training. Just hours after the peace summit ends, the Israelis capture up to 8 Palestinian suspects. According to Palestinian police sources, some of those arrested, their fellow policemen.
It's bad for us. For the Palestinians, it's very, very bad.
Israel's Prime Minister himself, part of the country's long tradition of avenging murders. He led their elite commando unit. Here in 1972, pistol in hand, a dead Palestinian hijacker at his feet. Amnon Lipkin-Shahak was in the unit.
This kind of crimes will not pass nearby without being punished.
And the Israelis never give up. They've tracked down and killed all but one of the Palestinian terrorists who murdered Israeli athletes at the 1972 Olympics. At the destroyed police station where the Israelis were killed, nobody would talk. Police afraid of Israeli revenge. It was mostly quiet in the streets today, almost no reaction to the Israeli raid. Most Palestinians say the killing of the 2 Israelis was a huge mistake that harmed the Palestinian cause. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Martin Fletcher in Israel tonight. Meanwhile, on the financial markets, it's been a day of high anxiety, welcome and unwelcome news. The turbulence in the stock market, driven in part by inflation reports, but those same reports mean a pay raise for Social Security recipients. On Wall Street, after a year of up, 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 it's now down, and who knows? NBC Chief Financial Correspondent Mike Jensen tonight.
In the first 20 minutes of trading, the Dow Jones average in free fall, down a heart-stopping 435 points, hammered by signs of a business slowdown. IBM stock takes a huge hit. Then in the afternoon, the market bounces back as bargain hunters like Camille Pisani move in.
When these sorts of things happen, I definitely look for a bargain.
The Dow closes at 9,975, down 114 points. NASDAQ closes at 3171, down 42. What now? A lot of analysts think that with the partial recovery, the market may now be poised for a comeback, but they're still taking it one day at a time.
Frankly, I was impressed that we're able to come back, that we didn't have panic late in the day.
Meantime, good news today for 45 million Americans collecting Social Security pensions, including Helen Gordon. An extra $29 a month in their checks on average starting in January, the biggest increase in almost a decade.
It would help a great deal because I take 9 medications a day, and that is all quite expensive.
The cost of living increase coming at a good time because prices are rising. New numbers out today show not only sharply higher prices for gasoline, heating oil, and natural gas, but also things like health care, up almost 0.5% in just 1 month. Tobacco, up 3.5%. Cigarette companies jacking up prices to pay for expensive liability settlements.
It's just outrageous here. It makes me want to quit smoking for the price of $5 a pack.
So how are rising prices and turmoil on Wall Street affecting Main Street?
People are getting a little nervous and trimming their Christmas lists, but largely because this economy has gone from near perfection to merely ordinary.
The danger is growing. People don't feel as flush when their stocks have been hammered. And if they cut back on their spending, the overall economy falters. So far, it's only a slowdown, no recession in sight. But for retirees like Helen Gordon and all 276 million other Americans, a warning from economists that the yellow light is flashing. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
Still ahead here tonight, the family, and it looks like a groundbreaking transplant to save a little girl's life is working.
There's lots ahead of us and things we're still worried about, but seeing Molly be happy and being Molly again is the greatest gift to us.
All in the family, an exceptional transplant from baby brother conceived for that purpose to big sister. And in depth, the Truth Squad, the federal surplus, and the candidates' wish list. Is all that extra money really going to be there?
Hello, America, how are you? We're both feeling good.
I'm really great.
You know, eating right helps you feel good, and that's what Healthy Choice is all about. And now there are 14 new meals to help you feel good. Like Southwestern rice and beans, grilled chicken with fire-roasted tomato sauce, and sirloin tips in a mushroom and wine gravy. Delicious and nutritionally balanced. They help you feel good. Healthy Choice. Feel good food.
I think he's doing great. I feel really good.
Oh.
Want to start a family?
Right now?
I just got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
Aflac. Well, if we get sick, our health insurance won't cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What's it called?
Aflac! I don't know.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Monty, set coordinates for track 5.
Aye, aye.
Good idea.
Sir, Interstate 13 is now in range.
Affirmative, I-13 it is. If it were me, I'd take the Egan Expressway.
On my ship, I call the shots.
Large vessel approaching fast.
Show them what a VTEC engine can do.
V6 power. Steady. Steady.
All right, people, let's take her home.
It's easy to get carried away. The Accord Coupe from Honda.
A lot of people find it hard to believe they can make rooms look like this from a store that looks like this. But the Home Depot has a great selection of beautiful things for your home, like the new Cole Memorial suite for the bath. It's inspired by classic designs of the past and perfect for many styles of today. Come in and see for yourself. The Home Depot, everything you need to create the look you want.
On NBC News in Depth tonight, our Truth Squad takes a look at whether these presidential candidates' plans for spending the federal surplus are realistic or mostly empty promises. On this day after the final debate, George W. Bush was stumping in Wisconsin and predicting the race would, in his words, go down to the wire. At a town meeting in Iowa, Vice President Gore said Bush's plan on Social Security simply doesn't add up. NBC's Truth Squad has been doing the math on the federal surplus and all those promises. NBC's Lisa Myers begins our in-depth reporting.
Even as the economy shows signs of slowing, jeopardizing huge projected budget surpluses, Bush and Gore on the campaign trail today promising hundreds of billions of dollars in tax cuts and new spending.
The marriage penalty is unfair. It's an unfair part of our tax.
Invest in priority areas like public education.
Yet each accuses the other guy of fiscal irresponsibility, of squandering all the projected budget surplus.
When you total up all the federal spending he wants to do, it's the largest increase in federal spending in years. And there's just not going to be enough money.
Now, because the governor has all this money for a tax cut, mostly to the wealthy, there is no money left over.
Most independent experts say they're both right. The truth, they say, both candidates have overpromised.
Both campaigns essentially plan to blow the entire surplus on tax cuts and spending increases over the next 10 years. We don't know we're going to have all of that money.
Under the rosiest scenario, the government is projected to take in $4.6 trillion more than it spends over the next decade. Half that surplus is for Social Security. Bush would use some of that to fund private accounts for young workers. That leaves at most $2.2 trillion for tax cuts and new government programs.
Both of them have made promises that could easily take up that entire amount.
What's more, an independent report warns that the surplus may be partly a mirage. Why? Because Congress and the president have increased spending twice as fast as anticipated.
If spending continues to grow at the same rate that it has over the past 3 years, then 2/3 of the surplus goes away, vanishes.
That's right, 2/3 of the $2.2 trillion surplus could disappear that easily, leaving both candidates short of money to pay for promises, even wiping out Gore's rainy day fund. Yet you'd never guess that from their rhetoric.
Promises made will be promises kept.
We both made promises in this campaign. I promise you I will keep mine.
Promises experts say will be very hard to keep, given the ways of Washington and economic realities. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Of course, a lot of what a president gets done depends on who controls that building behind me, the U.S. Capitol. NBC's Ann Thompson continues in-depth reporting tonight with the battles for control of the House and the Senate.
The high-stakes battle to control Capitol Hill today fought in the high-rises along a 91-mile strip of Florida's coast, from Palm Beach to Miami Beach.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Republicans' hopes of hanging on to their slim majority in the House resting with endangered incumbents like 20-year veteran Clay Shaw, facing a tough challenge from Democrat Elaine Bloom.
It's an opportunity to take back the United States House of Representatives.
To win the House, the Democrats need to pick up 7 seats. Today, 21 are considered toss-ups. Analysts say a key to a Democratic victory, winning a majority of the close races out west. Until this week, the battle in the Senate just as close, but the math now changing with the tragic death of Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan, one of the Democrats' best hopes for winning back the Senate.
That seat now expected to stay in the Republican column, making it almost impossible, many believe, for the Democrats to gain control of the Senate.
Analysts say the Democrats will most likely lose the seat they hold in Nevada. So in order to win the Senate, they would have to keep all the other seats they now hold, including New York, where Hillary Clinton has a slight lead, and Virginia, where Chuck Robb is in a tough fight for re-election. Then win the open seat in Florida and defeat Republican incumbents in Delaware, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, and Washington.
Democrats would, in fact, have to win every single close race to get control of the Senate, and that's pretty unlikely.
Adding to Democratic worries, Joe Lieberman's insistence on running for both vice president and Senate. If he wins both offices, his Senate successor would be appointed by Connecticut's Republican governor. Tonight, the Senate may stay Republican, but like the presidential contest, the race for the House still up for grabs.
I think if a candidate opens up even a 3 to 5% win in the presidential election, that will have impact upon House races.
Political combat now fought block by block in crucial districts like the one along Florida's coast. Ann Thompson, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, Lifeline, a new blood test that could help millions head off this country's #1 killer, which of course is heart disease.
She's in the black Bonneville.
Bonneville with Magnisteer. For handling so precise, it can even outmaneuver itself.
Stop all black Bonnevilles.
Bonneville SSEI. Luxury with attitude. Get over $5,900 in average finance savings on any new 2000 Bonneville with 0% APR for up to 60 months. See your Pontiac dealer today.
Right now at LensCrafters for only $199, you can get glasses with designer frames and one of our best lenses, featherweights.
Any prescription, even bifocals and progressives, only $199.
Hurry, event ends soon.
If you think this is the only way to take fiber, we'd like to reverse your thinking. Now there's chewable fiber choice. No spoon, no powder, no water, no glass. Why would you take anything else? Fiber choice. Anytime, anywhere.
Is your internet slowing you down? Get Velocity, high-velocity internet, and push the play button on life.
You ain't seen nothing yet. It's something that you're never gonna forget.
This is Velocity, high-velocity DSL internet service. Experience the net like never before.
Baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet.
Sign up now and get free activation with no annual contract at Velocity.com.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Thanks for making a leave. I had a hard time walking, and even after surgery I had some pain. Tylenol worked for a while, then quit. Finally, a doctor suggested a leave. Within a week, I was dancing all night like I hadn't done in years.
Just 2 Aleve can stop pain all day. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Now people say I'm a walking advertisement for Aleve.
All day strong, all day long.
And now cold sufferers can get the all-day strength of Aleve and new Aleve Cold and Sinus.
Look! Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The Senate has passed and sent to the president a bill that it will allow the sale of food and medicine to Cuba. This is a landmark lifting of the embargo in place since 1962. Even so, Cuba says it will not spend 1 cent buying American goods. On Lifeline tonight, a new tool that scientists have discovered. It can help predict if a person is destined for a heart attack. It could change the way millions of Americans get treatment to head off a potential disaster. More now from NBC's chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
Tony Ingram's heart attack struck without warning. A total surprise because his cholesterol level was normal, and he thought he was not at risk for heart disease.
I didn't think I would be a candidate for it, or at least not a real high possibility.
The studies out today show that new blood tests might help better identify people like Ingram before the heart disease strikes.
There is a struggle underway to understand how we can do a better job.
Using all of the risk factors, including high cholesterol, smoking, high blood pressure, and diabetes, doctors can only identify 50 to 60% of the people at risk for heart disease. With cholesterol alone, they can only identify 1/3.
The tools we have currently aren't adequate to predict heart disease in a large number of people.
One possible new tool, a test called C-reactive protein, or CRP. Results show that people with high CRP have 1.5 times the normal risk of heart disease, no matter what the cholesterol level. What is CRP? Scientists are now learning that when disease-causing plaque builds up in blood vessels, the body responds with inflammation, the same process that heals wounds. This releases chemicals, including CRP, into the bloodstream. Doctors can measure for CRP with a simple blood test, now available for about $20. If it shows CRP is elevated, doctors do not treat the inflammation, but many believe they should lower the person's cholesterol even below the normal range.
All the data we have suggests that if people are at higher risk for developing heart disease for any reason, then lowering their cholesterol substantially reduces their risk.
Better identifying and treating people at risk could avoid many of the 1.1 million heart attacks a year, saving hundreds of thousands of lives, and many believe the new blood test will play a big role. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
I'll be right back. Tonight's look at the family.
Okay, we want our customers to know that we're dropping prices. So we're going to put these up all over the store.
Construction thing.
We're dropping prices over here and on all of these and here too. Now that says lower prices. Hey, what's with the hard hats?
It's for falling prices.
What's that?
It's a backhoe for clearing away old prices.
I like the hard hats.
Yeah.
Want lower prices? Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
What will I be like a year from now? How much will I grow? How strong will I be? In 5 years? In 10 years? Where does my future start? You'd be surprised.
Love is in the air, everywhere I look around.
every sight and every sound. Love is in the air. Love is in the air.
Looking good, babe.
Love is in the air.
Coming up at 11 on News Channel 5.
What fueled a local man's standoff with police? Some insight from his ex-wife in an exclusive interview. And did the final round of the presidential debate sway your vote? We'll have exclusive survey results. I'm Jim Sanka. Those stories and more tonight at 11 after Law & Order.
Tonight on The Family, having a larger family to save a child. That was a controversial decision that we told you about earlier this month, made by a couple who had run out of ideas and money in their efforts to find a treatment for their daughter's rare and fatal blood disease. Did it work? Here's NBC's Robert Hager tonight.
A remarkable health report today for 6-year-old Molly Nash. Just 3 weeks ago, she got a transplant of blood and stem cells from her baby brother, Adam. A baby her parents brought into the world specifically to save her from the potentially fatal inherited disease that gives her defective bone marrow and blood. Today, word from Dr. John Wagner at University of Minnesota. This transplant is working.
What was extraordinary about it was the fact that the bone marrow was recovering so rapidly, much more rapidly than actually I anticipated.
Molly's mother, Lisa, overjoyed.
The first true, concrete evidence that it is working.
Father, Jack Nash.
Oh my God, we're ecstatic.
It's been a long road. With little chance at finding a perfect matchup for a transplant, they chose a controversial procedure, one that took 5 years of trying and over $50,000, mostly borrowed, all to conceive test tube embryos that could be examined first until one could be selected that was free of the genes that cause Molly's disease and right for a matchup. When Lisa gave birth to Adam in August, blood was drawn immediately from his umbilical cord to save for Molly. But first, Molly needed frightening chemotherapy and radiation.
In came somebody with goggles on and a face mask on and gloves on, purple gloves and a green gown, carrying this bag that said biohazard.
The purpose, to rid Molly of her old defective cells. No turning back now. Until days later, she gets the transplanted cells from her brother. But would her body reject them or suffer infection? She slowed down, avoided favorite activities.
She was too tired to dance. She didn't want to dance. She didn't feel like dancing.
Then suddenly, Molly heard music and began dancing again.
And she danced around in my heart. I mean, I started crying, and it was just fabulous because my little girl was my little girl again.
And now it's confirmed. She seems on the road to recovery. A controversial procedure, if an embryo is selected for birth, in this case to save a life, could one also be selected for other reasons, to have an intelligent or good-looking child? Difficult questions, but not ones for Molly's parents.
Our little son, in no effort of his own other than coming out of the placenta, has given Molly the greatest gift, and that is a chance at life.
As of today, doctors say, a 2- to 3-fold better chance for Molly of a nearly normal life. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
That's nightly news for Wednesday. Tomorrow night, the fleecing of America. We'll take a look at all the pork coming out of that building behind me. I'm Tom Brokaw in Washington. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world. Why are so many people getting up with Roxanne Stein, John Favoli, and Dean Tendrich?
Oh, man.
News Channel 5 has news, weather, and traffic reports. Plus, there's something more. It gets your day off to a great start.
What a shocker. You're so sweet, I'm getting a cavity.
News Channel 5, beginning at 5. To get through your day, you've got to start with Today on 5.
Whose economic plan is best for you? Under George Bush's plan, a family earning under $35,000 a year pays no federal income taxes. A 100% tax cut. Earn $35,000 to $50,000, a 55% tax cut. Tax relief for everyone. And Al Gore's plan? 3 times the new spending President Clinton proposed. So much it wipes out the entire surplus and creates a deficit again. Al Gore's deficit spending plan threatens America's prosperity.
WRMF's Mickey and Morley in the morning.
Hey, your birthday could win you $1 million.
It's easy. Just put your radio on WRMF, 97.9 FM.
Listen tomorrow morning at 7:10.
We'll announce the birthday in this envelope.
And if it matches your birthday,
you could win $1 million.
You could win $1 million tomorrow morning at 7:10 on 97.9 WRMF.
why offer billions when you can give away $1 million? Put your radio on WRMF tonight.
Bev Smith's 4 Floors of Fords, where satisfaction is guaranteed.
To take the fear out of buying a car, we provide a no-hassle buying experience. We guarantee you the lowest price and best selection. And if you're not completely satisfied, your money back. It's that simple.
Satisfaction guaranteed at Bev Smith's 4 Floors of Fords.
I'm Nick Smith, and you have my personal guarantee.